And here I have a sample worksheet from page 19 of the People Interactions module. This is where you help the client evaluate their social support network. So you ask them to try to fill in at least one name in each of these boxes. Who do they have for practical support? Who would give them a ride? Advice information. Who do you ask for advice if you're ill? Who do you ask for information? The companionship box. Who is somebody that's a good companion? Who's good company? And finally, the emotional support box. With whom do you share your feelings? And ideally, they would have somebody in each of these boxes. And it's okay if the same person is in more than one box, but you would want to try to encourage them to have more than one person to rely on if possible. And this is also a way for them to sort of take a look at their social support network and see where it might need a little help and see where they're doing really well. In session 2 of the People Interactions module, you're helping them manage role disagreements. So some of the key points from this module are improving people interaction takes a lot of practice, and first efforts might make them feel a little funny. But these skills will eventually improve, and just because you're getting better at managing role disagreements doesn't mean that you always get what you want, but you do increase your chances of satisfying interactions. In this session, you teach them the problem-solving method, which has 5 steps. First, you want to identify the problem outside of the person. So instead of saying, you're lazy, you say, the dishes need to be done. So the dishes aren't being done is the problem, but it's really easy to just say, hey, roommate, you're being very lazy. So you want to identify the problem outside of the person so that the other person can be responsive to this problem. Otherwise, they'll be really defensive. Second step, you want to brainstorm all possible solutions. So some of the solutions for the dishes not being done could be, okay, we'll just keep them dirty, which nobody will do them. Or we can take turns. We can put up a chore wheel. Or we can hire somebody else to do it if we have the money. And you just go through all these different solutions, and it's okay while you're brainstorming if some of them seem kind of absurd. You just want to get them all out. Then you rate the solution list according to you and the other person's view. So you rate them together. Well, do you like this idea? Do you like this idea? What rating would you give it? And then you choose the best solution from that list. In the 5th step, you would try the solution and evaluate. If it's still not working, consider new solutions. In session 3, you're teaching them that good communication is key, and this is where they learn assertiveness skills. The goals of this session are to learn how to listen actively, to be a good listener, to understand that assertive communication can improve your mood and relationships, and to express your feelings and thoughts assertively. This is page 76 of the People Interaction module, and this worksheet shows them different styles of communication. So what's their communication style currently? Is it the passive style, where you're holding in how you feel or how you think? And actually, this style, does it respect others? Yes, but does it respect yourself? No. Are they more the aggressive style? Do they have outbursts, shouting, yelling? This type of style does not respect others, but you could arguably say it respects self. I don't think really it does, but you can say that sometimes you're getting your needs met because you're being very aggressive. And finally, the assertiveness style, which is the style that they should aim to try to do. And they express themselves calmly, honestly, and respectfully, and this style respects others and respects themselves. So in this session, you're going to be helping them how to make requests assertively. So you can help them to role play in the session and also help them identify a situation that they might want to try their assertiveness skills on in their actual life. So the steps for making a request assertively are to decide what they want and need, identify who the person is that can help you get your want, choose a direct, clear word and sentences for the ask, tell the person how it would make you feel if they did what you asked, acknowledge the person for listening, be willing to compromise if they're not wanting to go for your first choice solution. Also respect the other person's right to say no. Just because you're being assertive doesn't mean that you're always going to get what you want, and let them know that that's okay. And remember to direct it at yourself, using I feel and I think statements instead of you don't do this and you don't do that, and that makes the person very defensive again. And so really helping them to practice these in session using role plays and also assigning it as homework outside in situations that they're actually going to deal with can be very helpful. The last session of the People Interactions is teaching them that there's these old habits and old relationship rules that they may need to change. Some of these rules may be harmful, just like they have harmful thoughts. So harmful rules could be, my feelings come last, you can't trust anyone, and I have to be responsible for everything. Helpful rules can be things like, don't abuse others and don't let yourself be abused. People don't have to be perfect to be loved, and you can't control what others do or say, only what you do or say. And here is a worksheet from page 116 of the People Interactions module. And on this worksheet, you have the client write down their old rule. What is their old relationship rule? So maybe their rule is others people's feelings come first. And what are some old behaviors they used to do to interact with each other using this rule? So maybe the client would say something like, well, I never said no. I always put other people's needs before mine, so I never got what I wanted. And what are their feelings with this old rule? How did you feel with this old relationship rule? So the client may come up with things like angry, resentful, upset, sad. So what's a new relationship rule that they can have that's a little bit more helpful than this old rule? So they may come up with something like, my feelings can come first sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And do they have a change in feeling once they change that relationship rule and start interacting with people in this way? And so these are another way to help the client identify things that can be harmful, that are leading them to be more depressed, and trying to change it so that they can have more positive people interactions so that they can improve their mood. And now we're going to just do a brief overview of the People's module. Again, reviewing key concepts, reviewing key exercises here like chaining, problem solving, assertiveness skills, and changing old habits. Address any potential obstacles that may come up for the client to use these new skills, and asking for feedback. What worked for the client, and what messages will he or she take away? Thank you for joining us today for session 2 of the Cognitive Behavioral Therapy module.